He's about to walk away, but she stops him, giving him a headband, as she explains that cultivators at the spiritual nurturing level can't hurt him if he wears it. He decides to wear it, and he jumps off the platform, as the system tells him that the battle for freedom will end in 47 hours, and his current rank is 7,864. But it thinks he has a high chance of making it to the top 50, since the battle is far from over. He suddenly gets attacked, and he sees the man named Wang, who is the best disciple in the entire school. Wang calls out to Chen, challenging him to a fight, as he threatens to eliminate everyone if he doesn't respond. Lin pulls out his tracker, and he sees the location of Lana, thinking she's in danger, so he rushes to get to her. We see that the disciples from Wei's sect have captured Dubai, and one of them tries to force him into signing a beast pet contract, when Lana suddenly arrives to save him, but Wei attacks her from behind. She struggles against the disciples, and she ends up getting disarmed by Wei, who asks her to stay away from Lin. But she thinks he's just insecure, because Lin is stronger than him, so he becomes upset, preparing to finish her off. But her tracker starts beeping, as Lin suddenly crashes down, knocking everyone down. Lin surrounds his friends with earth energy, as Wang electrocutes everyone, eliminating thousands of participants in an instant. We see Chen sitting on a rock, stopping the lightning before it hits him, and he mentions that the time has come. Lin's headband protects them from the lightning, but it runs out of energy, causing it to crumble, and the system tells him that there are 132 participants remaining in the forest, so he has an extremely low chance of making it to the top 50. Wei and two other disciples are still alive, and Lin prepares to take them on, but they look down on him because he's still at the 8th stage. But Lin easily defeats Wei's companions, so he becomes nervous. Lin is about to eliminate Wei, but Lana stops him, saying Wei was the one who put a bounty on his head, so he needs to make Wei suffer. He asks Wei to explain his motives, but as he's about to give his explanation, Lin suddenly punches him away. Lin sees other disciples behind him, so he quickly takes them out, and he completes his upgrading quest, allowing him to reach the 9th stage. He apologizes to Lana, telling her what happened to him, and they finally come to terms, but Wang continues to call out to Chen, threatening to destroy the forest if he doesn't appear. Wang prepares to destroy the forest, but Su arrives to stop him, and he recognizes Su, saying she looks like a goddess, but she tells Wang not to talk to her, saying she doesn't like him, so he becomes devastated. At that moment, Cheng restricts Wang with his chains, as he joins Su, and they challenge him to a fight. But Wang says they can't defeat him, as he breaks the chain on his arm, and he easily blocks Su's attacks. Cheng asks for everyone's help to set up his technique, telling them to offer their spiritual power to defeat Wang. He receives power from the disciples, but Cheng says he needs more help, knowing there are disciples who aren't cooperating, and Wang laughs at him, thinking his plan is going to fail. Wang breaks the restraints, and Su launches an attack, but he easily overpowers her. He tries to ask her out, but she rejects him, eliminating herself from the contest. Wang becomes enraged, summoning a lightning dragon to attack, and Cheng tries to block it with his skill, but it ends up shattering, and he gets taken out in an instant. Yuan notes that Wang's technique is close to the divine level, and Wang continues his onslaught, wiping out the remaining participants. Lin's group is about to get hit by lightning, but Chen stops it with his finger, asking Lin if he has mastered the Finger of Heaven. He says he needs to leave, but he wants Lin to master the move, and he disappears before their eyes. The system informs him that there are only 5 participants left, so Lin thinks he's doomed, thinking he needs to defeat more participants to rank up, but he learns that he can still complete the quest by defeating Wang. Lin knows this is a difficult task, but he doesn't want to turn into a girl, so he calls out to Wang, telling him to come down. Lana wonders what Lin is doing, but he eliminates her from the contest, telling her to wait for him outside, as Wang approaches him. Wang asks him about Chen, so Lin explains that he left, and he isn't going to return, causing Wang to become upset. Lin challenges him to a fight, but Wang laughs at him, summoning lightning to strike him down. The system warns Lin that Wang could kill him, but he knows this is his only chance, so he decides to fight. Dubai steps forward, wanting to fight with Lin, but he tells Dubai they can hang out next time, and he eliminates Dubai from the contest. Ying is afraid that Lin could die, but Mingyan tells her that he's about to reach a new level of power, saying they shouldn't stop the fight. Wang pierces the sky with his lightning, calling forth a massive dragon. So Lin tries to stop it with his god-level skill, but it does nothing, and he closes his eyes as the dragon descends upon him. At that moment, the system notifies him that he has learned the finger of heaven, so he points his finger, releasing a powerful beam of light, which illuminates the scene and causes the cameras to malfunction. The light pierces the sky, and everyone sees it, realizing that Wang has been defeated. The camera is restored, and they start praising Lin, who has just reached rank 2. Yuhua witnesses his power, and he's impressed to see this, asking Mingyan about the disciples they will send to the mortal realm. We learn that Wei is one of them, but Yuhua decides to replace him, thinking Lin is a better option. After the battle, Lin becomes unconscious for 10 days, because he consumed all of his energy, but he recovers thanks to Yuhua's elixir. Everyone starts seeing him as the strongest, and the system congratulates him for completing the quest, telling him that he has unlocked the almighty technique. But he has no idea how to use it, and he receives items from the academy as a reward. A month later, Yuhua informs everyone that the Demon King has escaped because the seal in the mortal world has been broken, so they need to send outstanding disciples as messengers to represent the spiritual world. Wei hears everyone talking about him, knowing he's been replaced by Lin, so he becomes upset because he always wanted to be sent as a messenger. We learn that prior to the announcement, Wang already told him about this, but he wonders why his father, the sect leader, didn't inform him, thinking he must have brought shame to their sect. He mentions that Wang also lost to Lin, thinking the sect shouldn't see him as a failure, and his father should use his influence to secure a spot for him. But Wang laughs, and he summons a lightning dragon, causing Wei to fall to his knees. He reminds Wei that there is a huge power gap between them, and he reveals that Yuhua said something to his father, but he thinks Wei isn't ready to know the truth. Yuhua appoints Lin, Cheng, and Lana as messengers, and he mentions that Lin has outstanding strength, so he assigns Lin as the leader of the group. He promises to complete the mission, as he explains that he's honored to be chosen as a messenger. Dabai gives him a scroll, which Lin presents to the crowd, telling them he will buy items for them at the mortal world, and he explains that he won't do it to earn profit, but to make new friends. Everyone cheers for him, because they want to buy something from the mortal world, but Wei thinks a messenger shouldn't be doing this. Quinn announces that she's starting an esports club with Lin, saying they're accepting new recruits, and we see that everyone is happy to hear this. The next day, the disciples line up at Lin's dorm, wanting to buy something from the mortal world, as Quinn shows them her video games. Wei is jealous to see that their business is doing well, and he recalls the conversation he had with Wang. Wang reveals that Yuhua told the sect leader about Mingyan's calculations, which predicts that the journey to the mortal world is going to be dangerous, so Wei could end up dying if he joins as a messenger. He explains that it would also be dangerous for Lin, but Mingyan mentioned that the will of heaven wants Lin to descend to the mortal world. Wei thinks about this, and he wonders why the will of heaven didn't choose him, so he starts crying. At that moment, the system notifies Lin that he has unlocked the crybaby technique, because he just made his enemy cry. So Lin wonders who's crying, when Quinn taps his shoulder, telling him that people have registered to their club, and he claims it's because of his marketing technique. Lana sees them, so she becomes jealous, as Quinn gives him her storage ring, telling him it's special. Mingyan suddenly approaches Lin, and he freaks out, knowing Mingyan always delivers bad news. He says he's there to tell Lin something, so he runs away, telling his friends to pack up, but Lana asks Mingyan what he wanted to tell Lin. So he tells her their journey is going to be filled with danger and death, saying there's nothing they can do about it. They're about to begin their journey, and Sheng opens a portal to the mortal realm, but dark arms suddenly appear, grabbing onto Lin and pushing the others back. Lana clings to him as he's pulled into the portal, and Sheng manages to enter it before it closes. Lana tries to wake Lin up, but the dark arms surround her, causing her to lose consciousness. The system warns Lin that his life is in danger, so it wakes Lin up, and he realizes that he's about to fall to his death. He grabs onto her, as the system informs him that they're 3 kilometers above sea level, but it doesn't tell him what to do. So he surrounds their bodies with earth energy, bracing for impact, but as they're about to hit the ground, they pass by a strange flower spirit, destroying its body. They hit the ground with tremendous force, but they're able to survive, and Lana regains consciousness, realizing that Lin is in terrible shape. Cheng catches up to them, using his magic to heal Lin, but they suddenly hear someone calling for help, and his friends point at his head. So Lin pulls out a mirror, allowing him to see the flower on his head, and it asks him why he snatched her body away, but it suddenly disappears, as an enormous ship covers the sky. We see a girl on the ship named Ling, who reports that she has seen the messengers, and she orders them to go with her. So they board the ship, and it takes them to a certain location. Lin introduces himself as the group leader, asking Ling what's happening, but she mocks the spiritual world for making a 9th stage disciple the leader. Lana pulls out her sword, asking Ling what she wants from them, but she prepares to fight, activating her skill as she reveals that she's at the 10th stage. They're about to clash, but they suddenly stop as Cheng takes a picture of them, saying he has captured their spirits. He offers to send the picture to Ling, and he reminds Lana that they must maintain their friendship with the mortal world, so she apologizes for her behavior. They leave the ship, and Ling tells them to follow her, as she takes them to her superiors, telling them that the messengers have arrived. A woman introduces herself as Yua, the president of the Alliance, and Lin recognizes her, because he used to watch her cultivation ads in the mortal world. Lana knows that Ling's superiors are both at the spiritual nurturing level, and Yua reveals that they gathered to embark on a combat mission. Lin thinks they're going to capture the Demon Lord, but they laugh at him, as the deacon of the Alliance named Shigo reveals that the Demon Lord has already been defeated, saying they just need to deal with the disciples of the demon cult. He explains that Lin's group was welcomed because he wants to send them back to the spiritual world, saying the Alliance doesn't need their help. He opens a portal, but Cheng tells Shigo that they didn't experience any courtesy, reminding him that they're supposed to be friends. But Shigo reveals that he repeatedly asked for Mingyun's help, but he didn't send reinforcements, so they had to deal with the threat themselves, and Shigo expresses his disappointment, saying they're the weakest messengers he's ever seen. At that moment, the alarm rings,